Most people think college meal plans exist to make sure students are fed. That is technically true, but it's not the reason they exist. If you've ever looked at a meal plan and thought, why does this feel unnecessarily complicated? You're not imagining it. When you get to college, you're not suddenly bad at understanding food. You're just encountering a setup that was never designed to feel personal. College meal plans are built around feeding a lot of people, on tight schedules, with limited flexibility. Once you see it from that angle, a lot of the weirdness starts to make sense. Colleges aren't trying to recreate your kitchen at home. They're trying to answer a much bigger question. How do you reliably feed thousands of students every day without knowing who's hungry, when, or how much? That's why meal plans are usually prepaid. That's why they're bundled. And that's why unused meals often don't feel like real money once the semester is underway. The plan gets locked in early, so everything can keep running later. And this is where frustration usually shows up. Most meal plans include different kinds of access. Meal swipes, dining dollars, flex points, guest passes. They sound interchangeable. They're not meant to be. Each one exists for a different reason. Some limit timing, some limit location, and some exist mostly to add just enough flexibility to keep things moving. The details vary from school to school, but the overall approach is surprisingly similar almost everywhere. Here's the part nobody really explains. Meal plans are designed around averages, average schedules, average usage, average behavior across thousands of students. They are not designed around you. So if you eat at odd hours, skip breakfast, leave campus on weekends, or just don't match the average student routine, the plan can start to feel unfair. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because it wasn't built to adjust to individual habits. This is also why people often feel like they're losing money. What's really happening is simpler. You didn't pay for individual meals. You paid for access. Once that access is granted, the value stops feeling transactional, even though your brain still wants to track it that way. That gap is where most of the irritation lives. And this is where the small amount of control you do have comes in. It's not about maximizing value, and it's not about trying to outsmart the plan. It's about expectations. Once you understand how meal plans are structured, you stop treating every meal like a calculation. You use it when it's convenient. You don't when it's not. And you stop letting the mental math follow you around all semester. That shift matters more than it sounds like, because college introduces a lot of things that quietly work this way. They're not personal, they're not adaptive, and they don't spend much time explaining themselves. They just exist, and you're expected to adapt. Once you recognize that pattern, a lot of the frustration softens. You're not confused, you're not behind, and you're not missing some secret explanation everyone else got. You're just encountering something that was never meant to feel intuitive. And that's what this channel is really about. Not fixing everything, not optimizing every decision, just giving names to the things that suddenly feel different.